Yo, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy Leach, back here with another reaction video. Make sure y'all hit that sub button, turn them noties on it. Make sure y'all follow the socials on screen to be much appreciated. I give thanks to the man above for another day. God bless. I love y'all, man. And yeah, let's get right into it. We got breaking news out of Buffalo. The Buffalo Bills have fired head coach Sean Mcdermott after playoff loss to the Denver Broncos.
That's the latest from our NFL insider, Jonathan Jones. It closes the books on McDermott's 9 years in Buffalo, where he went 98-50, but was unable to get the Bills to a Super Bowl.
This is crazy,
the Bills are coming off of that heartbreaking OT loss to the Broncos in the divisional round of the playoffs. JJ also reporting that GM Brandon Beane will be retained. So as we take a look at that NFL head coaching carousel, two jobs have been filled. Another one has now entered the chat in the Bills with the firing of Sean McDermott. So the silly season certainly
I really didn't see this
just
one
now
coming, to be honest with you.
In the NFL. We're not continuing that
ending of that game was crazy.
Damien here is still here
a lot of controversy.
JJ,
on that
shocking maybe a little bit.
Cooks,
weren't expecting to happen
really
right now, I'd say. Just the timing standpoint of it. What can you tell us about
let me pause real quick. For them to fire Sean McDermott, bro, like who are they really going to get as a head coach, man? Like, I don't know. I know McDermott, some Bills fans loved him. Some Bills fans hated him. I mean, I feel like that's for any head coach. For your team, like, you're going to have a love-hate relationship with whoever it is. I mean, what they do. But, I don't know, bro. I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. It just don't sit well with me.
This moment right here.
Well, Zach, what I'll tell you is, for the last couple of weeks, I've been trying to figure out, hey, if there is playoff failure, if you don't get the job done in the postseason, when there is not a Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, all right. Jonathan Jones got a point, bro. The playoffs were pretty much wide open for the Bills. Josh Allen, to win a Super Bowl this year, and they didn't get it done. So I guess it does fall on McDermott, but I don't know, man. I understand it why they fired him, because he just didn't get it done, and they're just tired of it. They just want to go win a Super Bowl, but I mean, maybe it is the right move, bro.
Or Lamar Jackson on the AFC side of the bracket.
But it really could hurt the Bills, though.
Remain as head coach of the Buffalo Bills.
I don't know.
Couldn't really get a great answer on that, and we see now why.
8 career playoff wins, most by head coach without Super Bowl appearances. You see what I'm saying? Like, he's a good coach, bro. Wherever McDermott goes, bro.
Playoff contenders, but 8 wins, 8 losses
he's gonna have a good team.
The playoffs is just not going to get it done. And Terry Pagula, the owner of the Buffalo Bills, making this move, has been very close with Sean McDermott. And I say has been, probably still is. This
9 seasons as Buffalo's head coach, 98-50 career record, bro. I mean, that's a pretty good record.
Sean McDermott, but one that clearly he felt that he had to make, because
I completely understand it.
Who I believe,
the AFC was wide open for anyone.
Best quarterback, maybe even the best player in the NFL, in Josh Allen. Why aren't the Bills competing for Super Bowls? Why aren't they at least getting to the Super Bowl and finally getting over that hump with the talent that they have assembled there? And we certainly can get into the roster configuration. Again, General Manager Brandon Beane is not going anywhere. He will remain there, help lead the head coaching search. But a huge, huge opening here in Buffalo, arguably the best job available.
But let me pause it real quick again. My bad. I'm not going to try to pause it too many times, but bro, let's fucking be honest, bro. Josh Allen got no weapons in Buffalo, bro. How is that McDermott's fault, man? like how, bro? Like, the people that, you go to the combine, they see it there. Like, why does Josh Allen not have, like, an elite receiver, bro? Like that falls on the front office, bro. I mean, McDermott's just coaching with what he's got. He's got an MVP quarterback in Josh Allen. You got a really good running back in James Cook. You got a couple good tight ends. And in the receiving room's just a big question mark, bro. Like, Shakir's nice, but
you can coach that man right there, Josh Allen.
JJ, I want to pose this over to Damien first and have you piggyback after that, JJ, because the reaction, Damien, that you gave when you reported that Brandon Beane will be retained as the GM, given the convos that we've had and everything, does that seem shaky, iffy? What does that make you want to say, given what your body's saying?
It makes me want to do exactly what I'm doing right here, because I understand the conversation about why are you not, if you have Josh Allen, why are you not competing for Super Bowls every year, regardless of if Lamar's in the playoffs, regardless of if Joe Burrow
but
or
you
Patrick.
gotta understand, bro. Like Josh Allen don't got the weapons he's got, or Josh Allen don't got the weapons like Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes got. Patrick Mahomes got Rashee Rice, Kelsey. They got a pretty good receiving core. The Ravens got a pretty good receiving core. I mean, obviously Zay Flowers ain't that, but he's still got weapons to throw to. Josh Allen's got Shakir, Kincaid. Like, what are we talking about, bro?
Mahomes in the playoffs. At some point, you should be able to knock off Patrick Mahomes. Like, we see those two as the two best in the league right now. You should be able to get him.
Like, I feel like Josh Allen just needs a couple more playmakers on the offense, bro. He needs like an elite weapon, bro.
I want to talk
don't
about
have an
the
elite
fact
weapon
that
like these other QBs,
now,
bro.
I know he had Stephon Diggs. I'm talking about drafting guys, developing guys like Keon Coleman, who they were enamored by, who Brandon Beane, the GM, the entire front office staff fell in love with from an interview, from the jokes, the laughs, and etc. And that doesn't pan out. That's a weapon that would have helped Josh Allen win. That's
another thing, bro. They got to develop these guys,
bro. For a lot of reasons, especially because McDermott and Beane have been connected for a long time. We talked about they go way back to Carolina days when people don't even remember they were in Carolina. This relationship has gone. They followed each other everywhere, and I think that a lack of success for Sean McDermott also falls on the shoulders of Brandon Beane, the way he drafts, the way he's orchestrated the team.
Exactly, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like,
so if anything, I think
it's not all McDermott's fault, man.
Because they're always on the same page. They always make decisions together. They see through the same lens.
And McDermott,
I'm just curious
has no say on who they get in free agency,
but you retain
bring
Beane.
him in.
And
I mean, he can say that.
Talk about Pagula's,
but he's not the one that can make the moves, bro. It's the front office, bro.
Like, put on the relationship of McDermott and Beane.
They're the ones. It's their fault, bro. Because Josh Allen got no one to throw
to. Not just in
to.
Buffalo, but around the league would certainly make as well. You're right to point out that they came together from Carolina,
Diggs,
got to know each other there when Sean McDermott was defensive coordinator. Brandon Beane was working his way up through the front office.
Diggs was
and
tough,
then they go to Buffalo essentially together, staggered by a few months. And you would think that Sean McDermott's success is Brandon Beane's success, and their one's failure is the other's failure. That's completely fair. What I would say, generally speaking, in the NFL, and we have seen this play out even this year with general managers, is they typically are even closer to the owner than the head coach. They talk more with the owner. They get the owner's okay on a lot of things. You know, Sean McDermott doesn't have to get Terry Pagula's okay when he's going to challenge or not challenge a play. He doesn't have to get Terry Pagula's okay when he wants to call a timeout or run a certain play, right? But when Brandon Beane is drafting a certain player or making a free agency move, he can walk the owner through that decision, and then the owner can sort of own that as his own decision as well, right? Well, I could have put a stop to it if I wanted to. I'm speaking very generally across the NFL. Why general managers typically, when both could go, general managers typically stay longer than head coaches. That is usually the reason, because Terry Pagula would believe that whatever failures were made on the personnel side, he was very involved in that. Coaching-wise, and if you believe in this roster, as clearly Terry Pagula does.
Yeah, I know they lost to Broncos, but
you'd think that, well,
I'm just saying, they gotta go build around Josh Allen, bro.
Super Bowl.
So let's go down that aisle of changing the coach.
They're not building around him, bro.
Do you
like
think
James
that will be
Cook,
enough
Shakir,
to change
Kincaid's
the
not enough
tides
to win them a Super Bowl,
of the way things gone in Buffalo?
They need someone to
maybe
lead.
you could try to trade for.
Until that happens, bro, they ain't gonna win.
See if he actually wants to sit or if he wants to coach right now.
That's facts.
You have Joe Brady there as your offensive coordinator. Maybe if you would have waited a little bit, you could have had Harbaugh. If Harbaugh would have waited, you could have had him. But what's the right move here, you think?
Well, so you just mentioned something that I think is very, very important in all of this. What happens with Joe Brady now? Does he take this head coaching job? Does he get interviewed for this head coaching job, or does he?
Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator.
My question is, if Sean,
he'll probably
get
interviewed. I mean,
is he able to keep Joe Brady? Why is this
maybe
important?
Joe Brady will leave.
Joe Brady? It's because of his relationship with 17, his relationship with Josh Allen. When they got rid of what was I forget the name of our coordinator that we had back before he went to He went to Cleveland.
Ken Dorsey.
Ken Dorsey. Whenever they got rid of Ken Dorsey, a big problem of that was he didn't call the plays that Josh Allen
Brady,
liked.
he might leave.
They couldn't get on the same page for an offensive game plan or how they wanted to run the offense or the freedom that Josh got in that. Joe Brady, he turns the keys over to Josh. He lets Josh have full creative control on the offensive side of the ball. I know that because I was there for a year. I saw it. So how is that part of the equation? If you lose Joe Brady,
but
how
it
does
is
that
crazy
affect 17?
That,
because I can tell you this much also.
A duo
17,
of McDermott
as much as he
Brady
sat in the locker room and
don't
talked about, man, I let our guys down, I bet for a split second he thinks to himself, am I the reason why McDermott got fired? Am I the cause of this?
Because I understand
when it all comes down, everything falls on the shoulders of Josh Allen. We haven't been able to get it done. Now, to get back to the coaching situation, I just had to throw that out because I'm very enamored by what's going to happen with Joe Brady. There's a lot of good options out here. I would have loved to have seen John Harbaugh in this position, coaching Josh Allen, sharing some of that GM responsibility with Brandon Beane, making some of those roster decisions. I think that would have been a good option. But I think you go and deal with somebody who's used to playing in the cold, who's used to playing in a blue-collar type of market, somebody like Mike Tomlin. Just see if he's interested. Just see if he's interested.
I'll tell you this.
Mike Tomlin?
All the talk that you just had about Joe Brady, I think we're going to have a lot of that talk with Buffalo. I'm searching through my phone right now, but it was more than a week ago.
I guess you never know, but
well-placed source outside of Buffalo who said be on the lookout for them if they don't succeed in the playoffs, moving on from Sean McDermott and Joe Brady ultimately taking that job. And we've seen that Joe Brady, because of the way that the NFL rules are set up, the playoffs, he has not gone in for second in-person interviews. And so his positioning right now, if he ultimately becomes the guy in Buffalo, they're only one interview behind. And honestly, and obviously, because he's been there for years, there are no interviews behind. They know what they have in Joe Brady. So he's interviewing for 3 jobs. Among them, I believe, the Miami Dolphins and the Baltimore Ravens. It looks like the Dolphins may be going for Jeff Hafley. And so I say all that to say that Joe Brady could very well be the option in Buffalo. I don't know this for certain, but I would be very surprised if there's anything in Joe Brady's contract that allows for him to be the coach in waiting. And I mention that because if you do have that, you don't have to run a search. Remember, Gerard Mayo with the New England Patriots, he had that in his deal when Bill Belichick was summarily dismissed, and then he was able to be elevated to the head coach
Let me know
position.
In the comment section down below.
I don't think that's going to happen. The Bills are going to run a search, but this is going to be a highly coveted position because you do have a quarterback in Josh Allen. Joe Brady, again, the number one name that we should be talking about. I'm going to take Mike Tomlin and everyone's word around Mike Tomlin that he's not coaching in 2026. I don't think the Bills should be spending capital in order to get Mike Tomlin for a guy who does not appear to want to coach this year.
Mike Tomlin,
but they're, again,
plus we
John
don't know if he's
Harbaugh,
coaching
Kevin
next year.
Stefanski have already been snapped up. The Tennessee Titans should get their guy in the next 24 hours. The Miami Dolphins may get theirs. Chris Shula is going to be a name that you're also going to hear with the LA Rams at defensive coordinator. But Joe Brady should be the top name.
But this is some shit out of like Madden
throw Sean McDermott out there into the name for other teams who are looking for a head coach moving forward. We certainly have a whole lot more to talk about with the Bills, and we will do that on the other side when we come back. But of course, it is Sean McDermott who has been fired and is out in Buffalo after 8 career playoff wins, but having that slip up this year in what was many considered the golden ticket year for Josh Allen. They didn't
definitely
get it
the
done.
golden
Now
ticket year,
McDermott
but
is
not
out.
The Bills. They sold it.
JJ, Damian Harris, and Leach Duzable now tapped in with us. Leach, I'll go to you first since you just joined the party here with us. This Sean McDermott news, your reaction to it is what?
Utter shock is my reaction to it. This is a coach that before this season won 5 straight AFC East divisional crowns. This is a coach that's been to 2 AFC championship games. I liken this, fellas, to when Tony Dungy was a Bucs coach for the Bucs. Remember, I was a young kid in Tampa growing up, and I remember when the Glazers relieved him of his duty, it was utter shock, right? Because this is a coach that went to the playoffs every single year, and then they trade, right, for John Gruden, and then they win the Super Bowl the next year. So this is a coach that throughout the entirety of the NFL has high praise. You see it right there as far as one of the longest tenured coaches active in the NFL. 9 straight seasons since 2017. And when you look at it, since 2017, the Bills have only not been to the playoffs 1 year. every other year. Remember, he broke that streak of 20-plus years of going to the playoffs. His first year as a rookie head coach. So utter shock. And I heard Dame talking about earlier, what pieces have they brought in to essentially elevate Josh Allen. The issue with them has been free agent pickups. They've struggled when it comes to that and getting production from free agent. But in the draft, they've actually hit on a lot of players. Deion Dawkins, Pro Bowl All-Pro. He was a draft selection. Spencer Brown has been right on the cusp of a Pro Bowl player. He was a draft selection. Khalil Shakir was a late round, I think 5th round draft pick. They've hit on him. Christian Benford, late round draft pick. Almost at a Pro Bowl level corner. So they've hit on draft picks. They've really struggled when it comes to bringing in free agents to help.
Yeah, I'm just saying Josh Allen needs an elite
receiver.
I can't
haven't really had a true number one receiver.
But elite receiver, bro.
Been a good receiver,
not Shakir. He's good, but he's not elite, bro. Like he's got a bunch of
because of all the
good players around him, but he don't got someone that can just get open like that, man. Like, you know what I mean?
I hear it, right? I hear the argument. Only one time missing the playoffs, 5 straight AFC East.
I mean, I get it. It gets to a point where you're just like, all right, we're tired of losing early.
It's Super Bowl.
Just want to win a damn Super Bowl.
Getting to the playoffs, getting beat by Patrick Mahomes, getting beat by Joe
I
Burrow
think it's who are they going to get.
That's not good enough when you've got not only Josh Allen, but when you've got a dynamic rusher in James Cook that they've had for a little while. He talked about Khalil Shakir. He has made a lot of progress and developed over the past couple of years, but they just don't have the pieces around to really solidify enough help for Josh Allen. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to play the fiddle of, oh, poor Josh Allen, because to the play that we talked about leading
he's got good players
the play
on
that
offense,
sealed the deal for McDermott.
It's not like he's got nobody.
Let's point to the other
I'm just saying he
turnovers.
needs an elite receiver,
They shouldn't have even been there. It was the costly play of Josh Allen. It was the first version of Josh Allen that we saw as soon as he entered the league. It was the renegade quarterback, the big play caller, the big shot caller. And in the most crucial moments, he's careless with the football, not only whenever he's throwing it, but whenever he's running it. The fumble before the half, the fumble after the half, that play at the end of the game didn't seal the fate for McDermott. It was the bad play from Josh Allen throughout this game. It was the fact that Josh Allen could not win this team to get to a Super Bowl when there will not be an easier path than there is right now. This falls on the responsibility
it's
of
going to be
everybody.
hard for the Bills to win one now, bro.
Guys. Khalil Shakir, if that's your number one receiver, that's a problem, especially when you go out and draft a guy like Keon Coleman. That is a problem. Defensively, they have not drafted well enough on the interior part of their defense to where they can stop the run. That has not happened, right? So in totality, there are a lot of things wrong with this Buffalo team. And when the expectation of this team is to win Super Bowl year in and year out, and you're getting these kind of results, somebody's got to go.
JJ, let's pivot to the Sean Mcdermott portion of all this, because what happens to him next? Where does he fall on the totem pole for all these teams that are looking for head coaches?
Again, the Miami Dolphins pretty deep in their process. Could be Jeff Hafley. I'm told Joe Brady interviewed quite well there. The Baltimore Ravens have interviewed, I think, 15, maybe 16 coaches so far. Well, looks like the Tennessee Titans want to make a decision on their head coach soon. But you look elsewhere, and Sean McDermott should be a coach that is in demand, right? We talked a few weeks ago at the end of the regular season about how this was supposed to be a boring cycle, and in part because the coaching candidate pool wasn't very rich. Then a whole bunch of current coaches got fired, and now the best candidates are the guys who just had jobs and got fired from those jobs, right? I mean, look, John Harbaugh and Kevin Stefanski have just gotten jobs. Mike McDaniel very well may get a head coaching job, and Sean McDermott may be next up. You look around, I don't think that Sean McDermott, or really any coach that will have options, will be interested in the Arizona Cardinals. Perhaps the Baltimore Ravens want to give him a look. You continue on. The Cleveland Browns, maybe he's interested in that defensive coach. Certainly, they have a defense there. The Las Vegas Raiders getting the number 1 overall pick, working with Tom Brady. However, you, of course, have to play in the AFC West, a very difficult division there. And as you continue on, there's lastly the Pittsburgh Steelers, who traditionally do not go for coaches who have coached it somewhere else before at the top. They have always gotten the up-and-comer. So he could be thrown into the mix there. Certainly, he will be a candidate for a job. And if he does not get one this cycle, I can already anticipate Sean McDermott would be a top, if not the top candidate next year.
Jonathan Jones, thank you so much. I know you will be very busy, but we tap back in with you in the future as we see what else is shaking up around the NFL. So you take a look at that Bills roster and their notable free agents for this season, and it's certainly some notable names.
It's going to be a big offseason for the Bills.
And the off.
But yeah, that's going to do it for this reaction. McDermott's done in Buffalo. Just really can't believe it. I'm shook about it. But, you know, Mike Tomlin and Harbaugh getting fired, it don't compare to that. But still, man, McDermott been in the playoffs mostly every year. I don't know, I don't even really know what to say, bro. I get it, you know, the goal is to get Josh Allen, you know, and the Bills the Super Bowl, but falls on the front office too, bro. Like they gotta go get an elite playmaker for Josh Allen, bro. Because if they don't, like their offense is good right now, but if you want to win a Super Bowl, you gotta go get someone crazy, bro. Like that's just what it is, man. You got Jordan Poyer, you got Jordan Phillips, Shaq Thompson, Joey Bosa, big name Matt Milano, Tre'Davious White. Them are some big names that are notable free agents. Yeah, the Bills are in for a big offseason, bro. And it's gonna be hard for them to get to the Super Bowl now. I mean, this playoff was pretty wide open, and they blew it. So yeah, we'll see where the Bills go from here and get as a head coach. But yeah, make sure y'all follow the socials on screen. Much appreciate it. I love y'all. About peace.